Kim Kardashian has big troubles with the justice system after the drugs were found in her stuff, and that could be the end for her. So how did Kim Kardashian's name end up next to millions worth of cocaine? It starts with a truck and a ferry in England. On Monday, the United Kingdom's National Crime Agency made an announcement. A truck driver had been sentenced to over 13 years in prison. His crime was smuggling cocaine worth $9.4 million, and the cocaine was hidden on a truck that was carrying a shipment of Skims clothing. For those who do not know, Skims is Kim Kardashian's shapewear and underwear brand. The driver, Jakub Jan Konkel, is 40 years old and from Poland. Last September, Konkel was driving a truck loaded with 28 pallets of Skims underwear and clothing. The shipment originated in the Netherlands and was headed for England. Konkel arrived on a ferry at the port of Harwich in Essex. That is when Border Force officers intercepted his truck, and what they discovered inside changed everything. After pulling Konkel over, investigators decided to X-ray his truck. On the surface, the cargo checked out. 28 pallets of Skims clothing sat in the trailer, all accounted for. But the X-ray showed something the officers were not expecting. The rear trailer doors had been modified. A hidden compartment had been constructed into the lining of those doors. Inside that compartment, officers recovered 90 packages. Each package weighed approximately 1 kilogram. Altogether, that is 90 kilograms of cocaine. In other terms, 198 pounds. The street value of that cocaine was estimated at 7 million British pounds. In US dollars, that comes to roughly $9.4 million. The truck had been adapted to carry the drugs. Each kilogram was wrapped and packed into the skin of the rear doors. This operation was not thrown together at the last minute. Konkel initially told investigators he had no idea the cocaine was there. He denied any involvement, but that story did not hold up. He eventually changed his account and admitted he had agreed to transport the drugs. The reason he agreed? A payment of 4,500 euros. In US dollars, that is about $5,243. So to put that in perspective, Konkel agreed to move $9.4 million worth of cocaine across an international border for roughly $5,000. That gamble did not pay off. Chelmsford Crown Court sentenced Konkel to 13 years and 6 months in prison on Monday. The NCA's operations manager, Paul Orchard, stated that organized crime groups routinely use corrupt drivers like Konkel. They hide Class A drugs on legitimate loads. In this case, Skims clothing was that legitimate load. Now this is where the story shifts. The National Crime Agency made a point to clarify something. The shipment of Skims clothing on that truck was legitimate. It was a real order. Neither the company exporting the goods nor the company importing them had any involvement in the cocaine. Zero connection. The drugs were not inside the Skims products. They were not packed alongside the clothing. They were hidden in a modified compartment in the truck's doors. Kim Kardashian's brand was, in effect, used as a front by the smuggling operation. Organized crime groups chose a legitimate shipment to disguise what they were really transporting. The Skims order was real. The route was standard. The driver was the weak link. So while the headlines connect Kim Kardashian to cocaine, the facts tell a different story. The NCA confirmed that Kim Kardashian and Skims were not involved in any way. Border Force Assistant Director Jason Thorne said the seizure deprived criminal networks of millions in profit and that officers on the ground did their jobs. Kim Kardashian has not been charged. She has not been investigated. She has not been named as a suspect. Her brand was the cover that a crime group chose for their smuggling operation. But the way headlines are written, you would think she was caught holding the bag. And that gap between the headline and the actual facts is exactly why this story spread the way it did.